it's Shelby, otherwise known as Shelbizleee here on YouTube. Today my house is a little bit crazy. We are in moving mode, it is official. But today I wanted to share some moments with you from my trip to Portland and Seattle, some things I did with Sedona Christina, which was really exciting, some lessons I learned, and then I also want to get into a little bit of talk about sustainability and travel. So we'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. I just want to give a disclaimer here that I'm not ignorant to the fact that flying is not great for the environment. I'm not denying that fact. I'm not trying to justify it. I will say though that this is the first flight I have taken since being on YouTube. So in over 3 years, this is the first flight I have taken. And it wasn't frivolously, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but I just wanted to put that disclaimer at the beginning. So stay tuned to see what I did in Seattle and Portland, what I saw as far as sustainability goes, and check back in here for offsetting my carbon emissions from my flight towards the end.
We're going to Virtuous Pie.
Oh, is this the menu?
Mushrooms, lettuce. Just go basic with the margarita.
That did.
That's delightful.
It's like a little freaky how much like chicken it looks.
It's sugar cane, I'm pretty sure. This is what they put in there to be the bone. And I believe it's probably what's causing that hint of sweetness.
Let's see if it's sweet.
Is it? Is it sugar cane?
Cheese like sugar cane.
Yeah.
Mac no cheese.
Alright guys, I got mac and cheese. I got some hush puppies. These are soy curls, which I think is basically meant to represent, I don't know if it's chicken because they had a chicken option. Maybe pork? I don't know.
I don't know. This is the ribs.
First impressions.
Pretty not good.
Let me see what it looks like. Oh, okay.
Madison's looking at this ginormous book of Zelda.
Trying to find Navi.
Then I got this book. Thinking about buying it. I know I kind of don't really like physical books, but I think this would be a good one to keep around. Ugh. So, and it's only I think like $8. Yeah, $7.50. Sounds good to me. Alright, we made it back to the Airbnb. Chilled out for a little while, and now it's kind of late, but we're gonna go get dinner. Since we're not gonna be doing anything else and I won't be taking pictures, I've slipped back into my Madeline Olivia sweatshirt. I would say I'll link it because people ask me all the time, but I know I'll forget. So just look up Madeline Olivia, and this is her merch. So yeah, her sweater with the stain I got on it. Still don't know what that's from or how to get it out. Leggings and my soulmate socks with Birkenstocks. This is a very signature Shelby outfit, wouldn't you say? Not listening to me at all. Madison started the fire and went to bed. That's a signature Madison position there. Almost as much as the soulmate socks and Birks. Jeez, we just drove like 5 to 10 miles. I don't know how far it was, but down a single lane road for both ways where there was logging traffic. And Now we're at this place called Drift Creek that has a suspension bridge that we're really excited to check out.
Yes.
This is gonna be so fucking cool. Ah! How crazy is it that we drove like so far off the beaten path and then walked far off the beaten path, and then there's like this immaculate bridge in the middle of the woods.
I know, how did they do this, you know?
I don't know. Oh my god, this is so fucking cool!
Mm-hmm. Whoa. It's kind of high up.
Oh god, okay. I mean, that's the point of a bridge, right? Oh. This is not the craziest thing.
It's pretty intense.
Oh my god, no! Her feet are gonna be so cold. Why did you stay? You're gonna be miserable. Oh my god. We came, we conquered. We were taking pictures earlier of my, with my hood up. I was like, this hood is fucking huge. And then I put my hair back up in a bun. And I think that this hood was built for my bun. You also like how cold it is out here, so my cheeks are all red. There's the haystack back there. It was gorgeous. And I've always wanted to come here, so I'm so excited that we did this. And now we're gonna go try to find somewhere else where maybe we can find a whale, because that's what Madison wants to see.
It's supposed to be a really good whale watching spot here where we're at. But I don't know.
It's too low. Like, if there were whales out there, you wouldn't be able to see them.
Where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, but they're gonna be all along the coast, but you gotta get somewhere high so you can see them. Right?
Up there.
Look at the sun, how it's shining. Let me take a picture of it.
First reaction.
I mean, it's just crazy.
So genuine.
Wow.
There it is, guys.
It's like right here on the side of the road, and then look at the mountains. Holy moly.
I guess we're gonna walk over there. We're not quite sure how this works, but we're gonna figure it out. There she is.
Wow, okay, so what do we do?
I don't know, we gotta figure it out.
Okay.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, how are you? Thank you.
You know, you're getting into the gluten-free stuff over there, but
Oh, okay.
all the cool stuff here.
Cool. It's cool that you can get all this pasta without any packaging. It's also vegan.
Most of them, I'm pretty sure.
I think a lot of pasta is vegan.
It's like an egg pasta.
Yeah. How cool.
Lemon one.
Yeah, they do. Wow, that's so interesting.
Look at the multicolored southwestern blend.
I don't know if you like it or not.
Lime cilantro ingredients.
Ooh.
Not even yet.
Yeah, most of them are vegan. So cool. This is so neat. Alrighty guys, so I hope you enjoyed seeing what I got up to in Portland and Seattle, seeing some things that I got to see and some awesome vegan eats that I got to eat. I really rediscovered my love for traveling during this trip. I haven't flown anywhere since I started YouTube. So in over 3 years when I visited Madison when I was living in California. So that was the last time I flew, and that was probably February of 2016. I say that to say that I don't fly often and I don't fly frivolously. Strangely enough, just upon my first flight within the last 3 years, I went to Portland and back. And I'm also going to be going to San Diego and back. And I'm also going to be going to Cancun. All of these trips I would not choose to avoid rather than to go. And something that I wanted to point out is just that it's not something that I would do if I had an option. So the trip that I'm taking to LA is for something very exciting, LA/San Diego. It's for something very exciting that I don't want to pass on, and if I didn't fly, I couldn't make it. In other countries, I know that people can take trains and buses and things like that, but honestly it takes so much longer to get from point A to point B on a bus that it's unrealistic for anybody who is on any frame of a time crunch, which in reality, who is not on a time crunch when traveling? I'm not using this to justify traveling willy-nilly, to flying all the time and not caring about your carbon emissions. I'm just saying that in the case where you have not flown in 3 years and then you take one flight because it's an amazing opportunity, I'm not ever going to be someone who says like you shouldn't have done that and that's a bad thing to do, etc., etc. So what are some solutions for if you do want to fly and you want to do it in a more eco-friendly way? Well, I already talked about how to fly zero waste, but that has nothing to do with the carbon emissions, which is what I want to address here. So you can offset your carbon emissions, which basically means that whenever you fly, you emit carbon emissions from the plane, right? So the plane puts off tons of carbon emissions. It's one of the most high emitting vehicles that there are. These offsets come in a bunch of different ways, but most commonly it is tree planting. So you find some place that will offset your carbon by planting trees, which take carbon out of the atmosphere. So planting those trees takes carbon out of the atmosphere to offset the carbon you emitted during your flight. So that's what I chose to do for this travel period, for me going to Portland and back, and also what I'm going to choose to do for my other 2 travels. But other than that, what can you do? So whenever you're flying, one of the things to keep in mind is to do your best to get a direct flight. Now, I'm sure most of us do that anyway because direct flights are just more convenient and a lot easier. But there's another benefit, and that is because most of the emissions that are emitted when you're flying actually come from takeoff. So it takes a lot of energy, emissions, that sort of thing, to get the plane off the ground. And so if your flight is just going off the ground once and all the way to your destination, it's going to consume a lot less resources than if you're flying halfway and then you have a layover and then you have to go back up and go back down. I know that's not always possible, but it is something to keep in mind, that if there are flight options that you can make work that are one way versus having a layover, then it's always better for the environment to take the one that doesn't have the layover. There's also an organization known as Atmosphere who rated all of the different airlines in terms of what their eco-friendliness is, so how many emissions they emit and that sort of thing. I think that's mostly what they take into consideration is just the emissions, and people who are working on innovations to become more fuel efficient, so on and so forth. And the top 21 of those airlines are not US airlines. So whenever I was looking to fly, I looked for the first US airline that would be ranked most eco-friendly on that list, and that was Alaska Airlines. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I did fly Alaska Airlines to and from, I flew from Austin to Portland and then from Seattle to Houston. And both of those flights were Alaskan Airlines because they are ranked the most eco-friendly airline in the US because they are working on more innovations to become more fuel efficient. They prioritize routes in a way that limits emissions, so on and so forth. And this video is not sponsored by Alaska Airlines, but if it was, I would be so proud because they also have a campaign called Strawless Skies, so they don't have straws on their planes anymore. That's not to say that all of their concierge type stuff. What do you call it? I don't know what it's called, but it's not to say that they're all plastic free, because they were definitely pouring plastic water bottles into plastic cups and handing them to people. So they're not the best in terms of that, but they do have a lot of initiatives that make them better. So if you are flying like I did from somewhere to somewhere northwest, likely you can get an Alaskan Airlines flight, and that's going to be better because they are a more eco-friendly airline. So anyway, that's all I had to say about flying and traveling and how I feel about it. I don't want to dismiss that flying is bad for the environment, because I completely understand that. It's just right now, I'm not going to turn down the opportunities because of airline flights. I'm doing the best I can while still being a normal functioning human who doesn't have 4 straight days just to travel to a place. If you can take an entire 8 days to travel to Seattle and back on a train, that's great, but I literally, there's no way that that would work for, I think, most people's schedules who have to take time off work, who have work to get done, just in general, you know, it's not realistic. In the US. But I am thinking about taking a train back to Seattle some other time this year, just to kind of make an experiment out of it, kind of set an example, if you will, and it will still be very time consuming. In a lot of ways it's more costly. It's very interesting. The whole transportation issue is very interesting, and I definitely plan to dive more into that later on this year. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so, so much. Remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.